Welcome to Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host, and today my guest is Michael Krill. Michael, I actually came across his name and a little bit about him on Facebook. We all know the World Wide Web is where you find just about everything now, and just read up a little bit about Michael, and sent him a friendship invite. He accepted and read up a little bit about him because, of course, my show is all about local people and local personalities, and I just thought it was a pretty amazing thing. And once he came into the studio and we sat down and we chatted for a little bit, I found even more about him that was extremely appealing. Of course, in our social times that we have now and in the real estate market, we all know the situation that's in. And what better way, I thought, to give my viewers a little info about what's going on behind the scenes of, say, home selling and purchasing, besides doing it with a realtor, of course, would be someone that's actually knows everything about it, I think, that decide that you as a purchaser or a seller would like to know. And that's what Mike does. He goes around, he inspects places, and I think the most unique thing that you'll find is as wonderful as his company is and as successful as it's gotten, he's still one-man show. He does it the old school way. So you know when Pinnacle Inspections come and do some work for you, there's only one dude that's taking care of it. It's Mike. Mike.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Just let us know a little bit about who you are, where you're from, how long you've been here, and then we'll go to Pinnacle from there.
Well, my name is Michael Krill. I own a company called Pinnacle Property Inspections, and I've been in the Lowcountry since 2010. I came up from South Florida, where I was a multi-trade building inspector for the state there. We started vacationing up here in the Lowcountry. We fell in love with the place, and then gradually just decided to move up here. And here we are.
And now you said you're from Naples. Now, I mean, I'm sure a lot of our viewers here in the Lowcountry know a little bit about Naples. And of course, that's an area that's very similar to Hilton Head.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. Mainly, we were from the Fort Myers, Bonita Springs area, which is just north of Naples. Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel. And Sanibel actually is really close to what the island offers here. The island's a little bit bigger than Sanibel, Florida, but very similar. Trees, nice restaurants, great beaches, stuff like that.
Now you were pretty much an inspector for the state.
I was a building inspector for the county, Lee County in Florida, and also the city of Bonita Springs, which is just north of Naples. It actually borders Naples. And I did that for approximately 9 years, multi-trade, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, and including fire.
Now, did you start off as a contractor, for say, like you thought you wanted to be a contractor and this opportunity came for you to take this job on, or how did that work out for you?
Well, originally, and I'm also still a licensed general contractor, both commercial and residential. And originally I was a general contractor, and becoming an inspector kind of just happened. And I didn't realize, but it was what I really liked to do. So when I moved here, I decided to open my own inspections business and kind of be on my own and just provide my services directly to buyers or sellers.
Now, a little bit of important information that you gave me, and trust me, you want to listen to this very carefully because this could be a very big selling point not only for Pinnacle, but for those who you do research in inspection business for. You said that South Carolina requires for someone to be an inspection, all they have to do is have a 4-day class.
Yeah, the state of South Carolina requires you to take a 4-day class and I believe a small exam to be a home inspector. Georgia doesn't require any certification or a 4-day class at all. So it's something you want to consider when you hire your inspector. Check out his qualifications, see what his license is like, and make sure he's properly insured. That's an important issue.
I mean, that's almost comical to tell the truth, because you think of the home being probably your largest investment you'll ever make.
Yes, sir.
And for you to have that investment in the hand of someone who, in most cases, obviously, is probably very underqualified. I mean, yes, most of the times you don't have a building contractor like yourself, someone that knows plumbing, electrical work, you know, structural design, roofing, and everything to go in through. You have a guy who hopefully he's been in it for years if he's only gone through this like class training to where he's gone through this, but still I don't feel comfortable, you know, really a lifeguard to watch over my pool when I go to swim that's only done it for a day and they qualify. Don't know how he can swim or whatever. And that's what it seems the whole situation that is with inspecting.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty beneficial thing to have Michael walk into your home and inspect it because, I mean, you have the background for it for sure.
Yes. There's a difference between a home inspector and a professional inspector like myself who has a background in code inspections, overall construction experience. That's what you really want to look for when you hire an inspector. Not someone that's just taken a 4-day class and used to work, you know, in a factory or maybe, you know, did landscaping and now has become an inspector. I mean, you want to find someone that has the qualifications, the appropriate licenses, and insurance to meet your needs.
Now, as far as where's your coverage area in the Lowcountry?
We cover pretty much all of Beaufort County and Chatham County. Basically, that's from Fripp Island all the way to Tybee Island. The bulk of our inspections we do in the Hilton Head, Bluffton, Sun City area, Ridgeland, Beaufort, but we do quite a few inspections in Tybee Island, a couple in Ridge Hill, or Richmond Hill, excuse me, and generally all over these two counties.
Now, if there's one bit of information that you'd like for every viewer to understand and know about the real estate market and, you know, not only on your side of the business and inspection, but also with real estate in general, what would you tell everyone?
I think it's definitely worthwhile spending the money to have a home inspection done or even a commercial inspection done. If you're going to buy a small storefront, a hotel, an office building, it pays to spend a little bit of money, hire a professional, come in and look over what you have. Because at least going into it, you know what you're going to have to repair, replace, or maybe decide not to go forward with the purchase, depending on what you find out from the inspector.
Now, you've had, so to speak, a bird's eye view of the real estate market here in this area. Now, it's been, I guess, about 4 years since we've really seen a huge, dramatic difference in real estate market. Have you seen a change? Is there an upswing we're looking at right now that you've seen through people asking for your services?
Yeah, I think the inspections business in general has started to pick up over the last few months. And I think we're kind of getting out of that little bit of a recession that we've been in. I think a lot of the foreclosures are getting on the market. Banks are realizing now we need to get them sold and move on and hopefully get back to better days eventually.
You know, watching 60 Minutes this weekend, they did a small piece on Cleveland, Ohio, how there were so many foreclosed homes that the banks were walking away from, that homes were so dilapidated that people were coming in and stealing siding, cabinets, you know, plumbing and things like that from homes that are pretty much abandoned. And to see the real estate market there just completely take a dive to where people went from having a $100,000 home to some thinking that they had a value of about $35,000 for a 4-bedroom home. From what you've seen, of course, I saw the picture of Tybee Island, and it's amazing. I've been on Tybee Island but not spent a whole lot of time there. What about the Lowcountry appeals to you most when it comes to real estate views and what you spend your time seeing?
I think what we like about the Lowcountry is very laid-back atmosphere on the island. You have fantastic restaurants, good people, and we can still go to Savannah for entertainment, enjoy our nightlife and dinners and everything else, and just overall entertainment. As far as real estate goes, it's a great market to buy right now, and I don't think people should be afraid. This is the time to get out and buy investment property or your main home to live in.
Yeah, it's a pretty fantastic place. I mean, the more I learn about Hilton Head, and it's amazing. I'm from Hilton Head, but the more you learn about it, the more amazing you see this place is. And you have wonderful people like yourself that come in and become a part of our area, and it's pretty special. Like I said, you know, immediately from reading up on you on Facebook, I thought, wow, this is certainly someone I want to know, someone I want to have on the show and have my viewers actually see what you're all about, because it's a very important and very special product that you take around, and it's yourself.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's an old world sort of trade to take a business on, and like you said, it's a very successful business, but you're still the only man. I know that must be pretty difficult at times.
Yeah, at this point, I'm the only guy, but we're considering maybe bringing another staff member on to help me in the office. But I always want to be in the field doing inspections. I want to be the person that puts the reports together, answers any questions that you may have or my clients may have, always.
Michael, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure
I
all mine.
appreciate it. It's always good to have a new friend, and I tell you, I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed everything that you've had to say. This has been Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host, and Michael Krill. I hope you've taken a little bit of information that you've heard so far and can use it in your future. I'm sure that real estate is probably in it. So here's the man you're looking for if inspection is what you need. We're going to take a short break, and I'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host. Well, I have probably one of the more special moments that I've had on my show, not because of what I thought I was going to bring to you, the viewer, and to myself, but also something that just came on me where I didn't recognize what a great guest that I had, because I didn't realize how closely knit we were. And it's funny how life works, and I'm certain if you're from the Lowcountry or you've been in this area for some period of time, I'm sure that you've come across someone in your past that you would have never thought that the situation would arise. Whether it's you're from Ohio and you happen to move here, and 3 years later your neighbor in Ohio becomes your neighbor here, or in my situation, Judy Hutson with a T, was a school teacher at McCracken for quite some time, a little bit over 30 years.
31 years.
And of course I went to McCracken in middle school, and we were reminiscing on the days of McCracken, and the funny thing is I brought up a big swing, which I said was a tire, but she let me know it was a hobo swing, that I can remember as a kid wanting to be in the class that would allow me to go over to that house. And I said, Judy, I remember that big swing. I forgot the teacher's name, and she said, it was me. And so pretty amazing. But Judy, welcome to Lowcountry View.
So good to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. Of course, this was, the intention of me having you on was for Booksalicious, which we'll certainly speak a little bit about, but you have such great history here in the Lowcountry. I mean, this is the reason why I have Lowcountry View, is for people such as yourself. And hopefully I can speak as little as I possibly can after I stop talking, and you can tell us all a little bit about you, Booksalicious, and what you know and what you've seen in the Lowcountry.
Okay. Well, this is exciting to be here because I was brought up in Savannah. Used to come over here to Hilton Head via the ferry from Buckingham. And so I've seen everything grow. I had no idea that in this area I would be teaching one day. When I was a young girl, I had no clue that I would be getting married to someone whose parents actually grew up in Bluffton. And in fact, my husband's family is the Hutson Plumbing Company, and that name, the reason they were in the plumbing business is because his father, my husband's father, met his mother at Palmetto Bluff, where his Harvey's grandfather was the superintendent for R.T. Wilson at the big plantation, which eventually burned down. But I have some wonderful pictures of Harvey's family, the Beaches, his mother and her 4 siblings, standing on the steps, all back in 1914 actually. And Harvey's father worked for R.T. Wilson and met Harvey's mother, and they got married, but he had seen plumbing in that huge mansion there. And so he went into the plumbing business, from a groomsman to a plumber. And that business is still going strong today in Savannah. So Harvey's family from the area, we've just had, it's just fascinating. every time I talk to somebody, we find out we're related. It's either my family or Harvey's family. Just like talking to you, find out I taught your sister. It's just really exciting, you know, to see so many people that I've known in the past. And we're missing that small community. We've grown so much. Now there are 5 elementary schools in Bluffton. When I started, McCracken was where the town hall is now, because I can still remember the kids. This is kind of funny. When we would have lunch detention, they would sit every other seat and get a bag lunch, and they couldn't open their mouths, and the kids would run and see if there were names on the list for lunch detention, and that was in that same auditorium where they have the theater there now. So.
Yeah, I'm sure I might have been in there. Peanut butter sandwiches.
Yes,
with,
yes.
With nothing but milk.
Milk
on a hamburger bun. Come on. I know it very well.
Okay. So it's just exciting. I love Bluffton. Used to come over to Hilton Head with a friend. We would go to what's now Palmetto Dunes and Port Royal, and we would just walk around and enjoy the beauty of the land, and while her parents fished. And so I just have grown up knowing this area all my life, actually. And I just love seeing the people, though, from the past. That's the most important thing to me. And my other connection with Bluffton, believe it or not, my great-grandfather on my father's side was here during the Civil War. Harvey's family, one of them did not, his grandfather owned his mother's side, I believe. No, it's his father's side. She was a pageant, and during the Civil War there were some Yankee soldiers that came to find her father, and her mother sent her out with some biscuits that had poison in them, and she said, give these to the dogs. And she gave the soldiers' dogs these biscuits, and they ate the biscuits, left. The soldiers left, and then the dogs convulsed and died, and they came back and destroyed everything. Now we're talking about the Civil War down on, well, it would be 278, down towards 170 in that area. And that story is pretty well known in my husband's family about how that happened. So they never found him, though, and he never served. He was not a soldier at all.
No, I'm sure you make biscuits.
No, I do not make biscuits.
That's great.
No.
That's good to know.
No, I like other Southern dishes like collards. You should taste my husband's collards. They're the best.
Nice.
They really are. His family's recipe. So.
Now, of course, McCracken, you've spent so much time at McCracken.
Yes, I did.
And it was a very special place. To think that, like you said, you have 5 elementary schools in there, and at my time when I was in school, which was, I mean, seemingly not that long ago.
Right.
You know, McCracken was the only middle school for both Bluffton and Hilton Head.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And of course, it started off as the middle school and high school.
That's right.
You know, so it's amazing how life has changed and how we've moved through.
Right.
And do you spend any time at schools now?
We want to. We've had schools come into our store. We have had them, Red Cedar brought in their kindergarten first graders. We had 5 classes at 5 different times. We read books to them, and it's just been really exciting because they learned what a bookstore is. They were learning about the community and the stores in the community. And so we actually had a storyteller from Canada there at that time, and she was able to play her guitar and tell some stories, and they were really excited about that. And we love being around the kids, so anytime anybody wants to bring in a class or wants us to come read to the classes, we're willing to do that.
Now, of course, the first I'd heard about Booksalicious was from Rob at the Lowcountry Business Circle, and such a wonderful little bit of knowledge he gave me that it just stuck, and that's how I actually came to get in touch with you, is about how you read in the bookstore to kids.
Right. We don't set a time. It's just spontaneous when they come in with their parents or grandparents. We have a lot of grandparents that bring the children in. We're just happy to read to them. So we'll take a book off the shelf or maybe ask them what their favorite book is and read to them. Paula has a lot of antiques in there. She has an old desk from the 60s, which is my era. She has her son's crib in there, and we have that full of animals, big teddy bear and Miss Kitty and 2 dolls that look like Cabbage Patch dolls. And so the kids enjoy being in there. And then Mike Bird, who is not even from this area but has moved here, and he built to us and just brought in some little Adirondack chairs that are child size. And they are adorable. And also a big giraffe that he said he saw this in this piece of cedar, and so the kids love that too. And we have in the middle, because we are 2 units and it has the big iron beam, a tree, which was done by Danielle Weiser, who does the sets for the Hilton Head Theater. And the kids love that too. So it's a delightful place to be.
Now, where is it located?
We are located at the Promenade, next door to Court's Wine. On the other corner we can see Woody's, Captain Woody's Seafood Restaurant. Directly across from us is the Darling Eye Care Center. It's a light blue 2-story building, so if you can't find us, if you look for that light blue 2-story building, you'll see we're directly across the street from that, and we have a big park where we hold birthday parties, in fact, and we get to use the park too for our games. So it's just an ideal setup.
Well, you know, it's so special. I mean, and this is gonna stick with me all day, and I'm very, very happy about it, because nowadays people look for their purpose more than ever, because it's so easy to not find it these days. We get so caught up in the technology and and the different issues that we live by these days that, you know, not everyone is blessed to have that life that you've had, that you're very intent on knowing not only your past, but making sure others have a great future. It started with being a teacher, and now, you know, Booksalicious. I haven't been there yet, but I can. My daughter's quite a reader, and so I'm sure we'll make it there. But you'll promise me that you'll come back on Lowcountry View.
I'd love to.
I mean, and I will certainly designate an entire show so you can really, you know, give us a little bit of history, because that's what I love most about Lowcountry View, is to find out about the history. I get to bring people on like yourself that can teach me at the same time. And since we know that teaching is probably what you've been blessed to do best, I know I can learn a whole lot.
Well, thank you so much.
Miss Hutson, thank you very much.
Well,
it was a pleasure to have you on, and I promise I'll have you on again.
Okay, great.
Well,
thank you.
It's been wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed this part of the show as much as I have. I mean, it's so wonderful to know that this community is as large as we've gotten. We still got little small aspects about us that are, you know, have made us special. This has been Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. My guest has been Judy Hutson, Hutson with a T, and look forward to her coming back on Lowcountry View sometime soon. Take care. Happy holidays.